Hey there, Autism Fitness founder Eric Chessen, leading the movement for movement and bringing you yet another awesome edition of Autism Fitness Tuesday Training. There were a lot of A's, a lot of T's in that one, but I won't make anything of it because there's plenty of other things to focus on. If you have not already checked out the Autism Fitness certification, then it is definitely time to get yourself acquainted with the best training on earth for professionals and family members who are looking to develop the most efficient, effective, meaningful, and demonstrable or replicable training and adapted PE programs for the autism and neurodivergent population. The Autism Fitness certification is both a self-paced online course plus the full day practical that you can do in person or virtually to give you the hands-on, brains-on, feet-on training that you and your athletes deserve. In this Tuesday training, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite both concepts and practices, which is behavior specific praise, or BSP, as we like to call it. I don't know who the we is. In terms of applied behavior analysis and in terms of best coaching practices, I guess that's the we there, but I don't want to make it tribal. I want to make it all inclusive here. So what is behavior specific praise? When and why do we use it? And what does it help us avoid as well, are all the things that I'm going to cover in this video. So number one, behavior specific praise. What is it? Well, as its name suggests, it is praise that is specific to or deals directly, focuses on exactly what we are observing from the individual. So if we see our athlete, for example, doing hurdle steps, we might say, great job getting those knees up, really good pace, something like that, because we want to give the athlete or the learner, because this can obviously be used in a multitude of situations, we want to give them an exact idea of what they're doing correctly. Why do we want to do that? Well, behavior specific praise has some advantages over general praise. So general praise would be something akin to great job, or that was great, or really good, or you're the best, or awesome work. Everything that we could call for those of you who grew up in the 80s and 90s, the sticker praise. We used to get stickers that said great job or you're a superstar, right? And it's cool. I'm not going to turn down a sticker. Definitely no. But at the same time, it's vague. It doesn't give us or our athlete a real indication of what they have achieved there. And achievement is going to be a big deal here, both for proactive and for teaching purposes or modification purposes as well. So we have a specific point that we want to get across to the athlete of something that they are doing correctly, something they are doing well, something that they are really focusing on and trying hard to do. The whole idea of behavior specific praise is indicating to the athlete exactly what they are doing correctly when they are doing it. General praise, again, the sticker praise, something like great job or you're awesome, may sound good, but a couple problems with it. Number one, it gets redundant. If you hear great job, great job, great job over and over and over again, regardless of who you are going to tune out to it. It's going to lose its effect. It's going to become less meaningful. And as a coach or as an instructor, I don't really have to be paying that much attention to say great job. On the other side, with behavior specific praise, I, as the coach, as the instructor, need to be paying careful attention to exactly what the individual is doing so that I can provide that specific praise feedback. So if I'm just casually from the side watching an athlete doing a band pull down, and I'm saying, great job, great job, great job, it just kind of becomes part of the environment. But if I'm focused on that athlete and I say, great job pulling that band down, that was an awesome grip that you had, super controlling the band, right? Now, something like that is probably going to convey to the athlete exactly what they're doing correctly when they're doing it. And the cool part, the even cooler part, is that it's going to increase the likelihood of that athlete performing that exercise to that particular level of capability again and again. It may not be a one-to-one ratio, meaning the first time that they hear that behavior specific praise, that they're automatically going to do the exercise perfectly or near perfectly every time, but it's certainly going to give a much better indication to them than something like great job or you're awesome. The other side of behavior specific praise is that it keeps us as instructors and coaches from using have to language when we are coaching. If you've watched any of my videos before, you know that the number one mistake that coaches tend to engage in, particularly when they're working with the autism and neurodivergent population, is over coaching, meaning using way too much language to instruct the athlete, and then the athlete gets either overwhelmed or they get anxious, or it's simply too much information to process. And if so, you're not going to get the result that you're looking for, and the athlete isn't going to understand completely how to perform this exercise, and we're just going to go in this cycle over and over again. So if you think about behavior-specific praise as a teaching tool, let's come back to that band pull down example. Oftentimes we see an athlete pull the band down really quickly and then do a really quick release, so they're not getting the appropriate muscular contraction to facilitate the training effect, and then we're not really getting much out of the exercise, right? So that's the physical part of it. If we can start to shape that behavior or that exercise through behavior-specific praise, we can focus on the instances in which the athlete is performing the exercise correctly. So maybe the first 1 or 2 or 3 reps are really fast and not exactly to the athlete's current level of ability, but that 4th repetition looks really good. They're controlled. Maybe now you've stepped in with a modification. So you have your hands under the band. That's something that we teach in the Autism Fitness Level 1 certification. So now that 4th rep looks really good. Great pull down, nice going slow, great grip on that band. So we are teaching the athlete while they're performing the exercise rather than explaining to them in the beginning of the exercise. And it may seem like a detail, but this is a big, big, big deal. The difference between explaining before the athlete does the exercise versus coaching it and shaping it with our behavior specific praise while they're doing the exercise when they are performing it correctly. Now, it's up to us as coaches and instructors to make sure that we are implementing the appropriate modification, the right support for that athlete in order for them to perform the exercise to the best of their current ability. We don't just, if an athlete doesn't have the capability to do that exercise independently just yet, we're not just going to give them the band and say, okay, well, when you get it right, then I'm going to laud you with feedback. That is not the way that it works. We can't just give the athlete the exercise and expect that over time it's going to improve without implementing some type of coaching and cueing and potentially oftentimes modification strategy. That is the whole reason, or one of the big reasons, why we exist as coaches if we're doing our job correctly. All right. So let's look at behavior specific praise finally from the PAC profile perspective: physical, adaptive, and cognitive. Physically, what does behavior specific praise get us? It gets us better performance during the session over time, because we are indicating to the athlete what they're doing correctly. So there is a greater likelihood that they are going to repeat that effort, that performance, that better grip, that slower pull down, that slower eccentric, that greater range of motion. All right. So physically, it's going to have the athlete perform the exercise better, quicker. Adaptively, behavior specific praise has a much higher rate of reinforcement than general praise because it's all about acknowledging exactly what the athlete is doing correctly and giving them the specifics, again, around what it is that we are looking for. I challenge you to do this in your own lives, either with friends or relatives or coworkers, significant others. Use this in daily life rather than saying you're great or you're special or you're a wonderful person. Focus in on something that someone does really well. My challenge to you is try it 2 or 3 times a day and see the reactions. Notice the reactions that you get from people instead of great job or or that was great. Really dial in and be mindful of what people around you are doing really well, because most of us don't get a lot of BSP on a daily basis. So that's something to implement in your daily lives. Again, something that isn't just restricted to the autism and neurodivergent population. So that's adaptive. And third, from a cognitive perspective, understanding and clarity, right? The clearer we are with our communication to the athlete, the greater understanding they're going to have around the expectations of what the exercise is supposed to be. Exercise, physical activity, the exercises themselves are often often vague or they are often abstract for our population. And if it's abstract, then the question becomes, why am I doing this? Sometimes the athlete, if they don't necessarily understand why they're doing the exercise, it may be more difficult, number one, to be motivated to do it. So we're getting back into the adaptive. But from a cognitive perspective, it's going to be more difficult to perform because they don't know what we're looking for. They don't know what the expectation for performance is. By layering in that behavior specific praise, we are building in meaningfulness to the exercise, and the athlete is going to have a greater awareness, more acute understanding of what they need to be doing in order to satisfy the expectation for performing that band pull down or that hurdle step or that push throw. Now, the last thing I will say is that it is very easy to fall into the general praise trap. It's easy to get sucked back into it, especially on days where you're more tired or you're on your 5th or 6th session or you're on your 4th class and everything just becomes great job, great job, great job. Here's one way to hold yourself accountable with this also. You think about, how do I, as a coach, as an instructor, how do I make my job, my coaching life easier and more efficient? Well, if my athletes understand the expectation cognitively, we're working backwards here. If they are motivated, not every athlete is going to be motivated by behavior specific praise, by the way, and we can find other ways to work this in. So this is not a 100% thing, but it's a most often thing. If they are motivated by behavior specific praise and understand what they need to be doing with that exercise, and if physically it improves their performance on that exercise, well, I just made my coaching job easier because now I need a little bit less modification. I need a little less verbiage. I can save my voice. And this is coming from somebody who speaks a lot. All of these things can happen through the correct utilization of behavior specific praise. It makes the coaching experience much more efficient, effective, and fun for the coach. And it holds your attention to the athlete also. I have to be paying attention if I am going to give my athletes some type of verbal incentive or verbal feedback. I can't be all over the place. I have to be watching what they're doing right now. So it gives me a reason to be focused on that athlete 100% or as close to that as possible, of the session so I can give that feedback so that their performance improves, so that they are more motivated and reinforced as much as possible, and so they understand the expectation around each and every exercise. So behavior specific praise, again, seems small. It's one of those small things, big deal kind of thing. And I challenge you to use it in your daily life and in your coaching life as well. And if you really want to become an absolute marvel with behavior specific praise, then it's time to become an Autism Fitness Certified Pro. You can learn more about the Autism Fitness certification. We have practical dates, both in person and virtual, all throughout the year. Head on over to autismfitness.com and click on the certification button so that you can explore and bring the best possible fitness and adapted PE programs to the autism and neurodivergent population that you serve. I'm Autism Fitness founder Eric Chessen, leading the movement for movement. Thank you for watching. Definitely like, please subscribe, share with people whom this might impact, and give them some behavior specific praise too. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.